If you have an ostomy, especially an ileostomy, there's probably something you don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about, your kidneys. I've had an ileostomy now for 5 years and I don't have a colon anymore. And one of the things I've learned is that hydration is a much bigger deal for me now than it was before the surgery. And apparently there's a reason for that that I wasn't fully aware of. Kidney stones. So let's talk about why people with ileostomies are more susceptible to kidney stones, and more importantly, what can we do about it? Our colon naturally absorbs a lot of water and electrolytes. And if you have an ileostomy or your colon's been removed, then you're losing some of that ability. Instead, more fluid can leave through your stoma, and that can create problems for us specifically related to hydration. That's one of the reasons dehydration is something we have to pay such important attention to. And when you're dehydrated, you produce less urine. And that means the urine that you do produce becomes more concentrated. And that's where kidney stones can become an issue. The more concentrated your urine is, the easier it is for the chemicals in your urine to create crystals. And then eventually you could end up with kidney stones. So there really is a relationship between your ostomy, hydration, and your kidneys. I came across a great article from the United Ostomy Association of America, and it's called Kidney Stones and Ileostomies. And there were two things that jumped out at me. Specifically, UOAA pointed out that people with ileostomies have a higher chance of kidney stones because we're more susceptible to fluid and electrolyte losses. And that makes sense, but here's what I found that was really interesting. They recommend paying attention not just to how much you're drinking, how much is coming out of your ostomy, but also how much you're urinating. They recommend that you urinate at least 1,200 milliliters a day to help protect your kidneys. And that's not something I ever thought about measuring. For years, I've heard the same advice: stay hydrated. Okay, great. But what exactly does that mean? Because when I have an ileostomy, I can drink a lot, but I can also lose a lot. If I'm exercising, if it's hot outside, if I'm having more output than normal, even if I'm sick, that can change the equation pretty quickly. And sometimes water alone isn't the answer. We're losing electrolytes too. That's why electrolyte drinks or rehydration drinks can be very beneficial depending on our situation. For me, the bigger lesson is just being more aware, right? How much am I drinking? How much is in my output? How much am I urinating? Am I getting my electrolytes? Food can play a key role in kidney stones too, and I'm not going to give you a giant list of foods you shouldn't eat because of kidney stones, because it can vary from person to person. I've learned from having an ostomy that everyone's digestive system is a little bit different based on how many surgeries you've had, how much remaining intestine you have. Different variables can go into that. And there are foods that people with an ileostomy can eat that I stay away from, primarily because I've had 4 blockages. So there are some variations in our diet based on our experiences with the surgeries and our medical procedures. So I'm definitely not going to say stay away from spinach or chocolate or almonds, because we've heard somewhere that they can impact the kidney stone possibilities. If you've had kidney stones, then it's going to be a conversation you're going to need to have with your doctor or your nutritionist, and potentially try to figure out exactly what kind of kidney stones you're developing, which might help identify what foods you need to stay away from. Kidney stones can come with some pretty basic side effects and indications, one being pain in the side or your lower back. There could also be blood in your urine, pain when you urinate, and I would say most importantly, there can be some nausea or vomiting associated with it. And with vomiting or nausea, we have to be very careful because we already have output issues, and that's going to do nothing but add to our loss of fluids. So if something doesn't feel right, don't try to be a hero, okay? Just check with your medical team, get some help. I've had an ileostomy for 5 years now, and I'm constantly learning new things about how my body works. And to be honest, that is probably never going to change. And this has just been a great reminder for me that living with an ostomy isn't just about the stoma. It's taking care of the entire person. So stay hydrated, pay attention to your output, and maybe start paying attention to your urine output as well. And if you want to learn more, check out the UOAA Kidney Stones and Ileostomies document. It's a really good read, great information, and I'll put the link for that in the description below. After you've had a chance to read it, check your habits, make sure that everything's in alignment so that you're optimally living in a way that can hopefully prevent kidney stones. And then get out there and enjoy your life.